Hello, I'm Mr. Black, and today we're going to be talking about division. Now, division can be a concept that can baffle some people, and it's really not that difficult if you understand the concept of one number going into another number a certain amount of time, like 3 will go into 6 2 times, or 3 will go into 9 3 times, and so forth. So we're going to talk about division of whole numbers and division of decimals. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so now we've got our first problem up here. Now I chose this because 3 will go into 372 an even number of times. So let's see how many times. So first off, we know that 3 will go into 3 one time. So we got 3, and we're going to put 3 underneath it. Now I know that when I subtract 3 from 3, I get 0. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring down this 7. Now I look at this 3. How many times will 3 go into 7? Well, 3 will go into 7 twice, because you got 3, 6. If it goes in 3 times, you'd have to have a 9. So there's only 2. So we know that it goes in twice. And we got a 6. Now I know that 2 times 3 is 6. So that's what my answer is down here. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract these. So 6 minus 7 is 1. Now I know that 3 can't go into 1, so I'm going to have to bring down this last number, which is a 12. Now 3 will go into 12 4 times, with a 0 as a remainder. So it goes into it evenly. Now, if I want to double check that, all I have to do is take 124, multiply it by 3, and I will get 372. Well, let's look. So 3 times 4 is 12. Carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And 3 times 1 is 3. Now, I know that I've got the right answer because 372 and 372 are the same number. Okay, let's take another look and another problem. Okay, so now we've got 5 goes into 126. How many times? Well, I chose this because it's going to have a remainder, because I know that 5 won't go into 126 evenly. So first off, 5 will go into 12. It won't go into 1, but will go into 12. So it'll go into 12 twice, because I know that 5 times 2 is 10. Now I know that 5 won't go into 2, but it will go into 26. So I'm going to bring down the 6. So 5 goes into 26 5 times. And I have a remainder of 1. Now, when you're in elementary, let's say 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades, and you're doing math, oftentimes they'll say, well, I've got a remainder of 1. We don't do that. When we get to 6th grade, we turn that into a fraction. And we'll get into some of those fractions a little bit later, but we take our remainder, which is a 1, and put it over our divisor, which is a 5. So my 5 goes into 126, 25, and 1/5 times. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so now I chose this number because I know that 6 will go into 12 and 6 will also go into 6. So let's try it. So 6 goes into 12 twice. Now, I know that if I subtract 12 from 12, it's 0. Also, if I bring down the 0, 0. How many times will 6 go into 0? Well, 6 will go into 0 0 times. So I put a 0 up here. I can't just leave that blank because it won't work out. So if a number goes into it 0 times, then you put in a 0. Okay, now I'm going to bring down my 6. Now 6 goes into 6 one time. So my answer is 201. Now I know that's right because if I take 201, multiply it by 6, I've got 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 0 is 0. And 6 times 2 is 12. So I know that it is correct. Now, let's say, for instance, I decided to skip that. I know a lot of students who will do this. What they'll do is they'll say, well, 6 goes into 12 twice. 6 won't go into 0 at all, but it will go into 6. So then they'll do this here and say they're done. Okay? So then they do 21 times 6. It does not work out to my 1206. Okay, so you've got to be careful. If it goes in 0 times, make sure you put in your 0 as your placeholder to make sure that you get the correct answer. Now, let's try one with decimals, okay? So let's look at how we're going to divide decimals. Okay, so now we've got 2.1. Now, I don't want to divide anything with a decimal in my divisor. I want to get it out of here. I don't care if there's a decimal in here. I just don't want to see it in here. So I'm going to move it. So I'm going to move this decimal 1 space over there to turn this into a whole number. The thing is, now that I've moved this over, I've got to move the decimal here. So I move the decimal over here 1 place value as well. There's always a decimal behind any whole number, or any number for that matter, unless it's already a decimal, but there's always a decimal behind any whole number. We just don't use it or need it, so we just leave it off. But there's always an implied decimal. So now I've got 21 goes into 4,200. How many times? Let's take a look. 21 goes into 42 twice. Okay. Now, I can bring those zeros down, but 21 goes into 0 and 0 numbers of times. So, I just put zeros up there. Now, I can go ahead and do the math and make sure my answer is correct. So, I'm going to take 200, multiply it by 21, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, and I have the correct answer. So 2.1 goes into 420 200 times. 21 goes into 4,200 200 times. Okay, so I've got my answer. Let's do another one just for fun. So let's take a look at another problem. So now I've put a decimal in my divisor and in my dividend. Okay, so now I need to move the decimal out of here. So let's go ahead and move this decimal here, making that 0.3 a whole number of 3. And then I'm going to take the decimal in my dividend, and I'm going to move it over and take that 36.9 and turn that into a whole number as well, 369. Now I can do my problem. So 3 goes into 3 once. Okay, so I've got a 3 there. Bring down my 6. 3 goes into 6 twice. Bring down my 9. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So my answer is 123. Now I can just take my 123, multiply it by 6, or by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 times 1 is 3. Now I can go ahead and put the decimal in there if I want, just like I've got here, or I can leave it off. Either way, I know that 3 goes into 369 123 times, or 0.3 goes into 36.9 123 times. Either way, I've got the right answer. Okay, please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. And if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment below. Please like, and as always, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.